So I asked you guys with the poll on YouTube about what kind of effect can nature have on your chronic pain. So let's see here. About 83% of you with 35 votes reported that nature can have a positive effect on pain and help you alleviate chronic pain. 14% of you said negative. Nature can be harmful for your chronic pain. And 3% said none actually. So chronic pain is not affected by like being out in nature in your environment. So I do apologize. One thing I forgot to include as an option when answering this is both. That pain, do you think it can have a both positive and negative effect on you in terms of your chronic pain? Nonetheless, overwhelming majority of you reported a positive effect, 83%, that nature can have on your chronic pain. So that's going to be the topic for this video. Even though I asked this in the poll, I'm going to kind of rephrase this and re-ask this, and these will be kind of the main points that I'll be talking about in this video. So some questions include, what role do you think your environment, such as your surroundings, play in your chronic pain? 2, do you think pain is simply a biological physical process? Or is pain influenced by other factors besides your body and its body tissues? Also, do you think your environment has a positive or negative effect on your chronic pain? We touched upon that in the poll. And do you think going outside and being in nature helps with your pain? Most of you are probably going to say yes, but this video is really going to go into the science of it, some of the things that you may not have known and really can benefit you in terms of your chronic pain treatment. So it should be no surprise that, in general, most people find being out in nature very therapeutic and beneficial for their mental health. But did you know that it can have actually a positive influence on your actual chronic pain as well? Most of you probably suspected this. So the obvious recommendation, right, from me is probably, well, go out there and, go enjoy nature, go on a walk, go on a hike, right? But most of you probably are not in this kind of space or this kind of tolerance yet. You may not be able to go on extreme hikes. And even something like starting small, like sitting around on a bench outside may be really, really tough for you as well, with or without support, like social support, right? One thing you can do, regardless of where you're at overall though, is to really focus on the present moment and just take it all in. Don't really let your pain kind of consume and take over your thinking as much as you can anyways, and it can be tough depending on where you live, right? If you live in a more urban environment, maybe less nature, maybe more noisy, more distractions that take you away from this therapeutic nature part that can help you with your pain. Really, the key is to try to be out in nature, and this may involve even driving farther away to find it. Kind of common sense, but some of you may be watching and thinking, well, I'm in pain, Jeff. I can't even go outside or go on a walk. Or my environment has a lot of restrictions, whether it be physical, financial, cultural, societal, right? Whatever. Some of you may even be trapped in where you live currently due to mobility issues. So I get there's a wide range of possibilities or limitations. What I'm trying to get at though is, for those of you who have more restrictions, what can you do for your chronic pain that is related to this theme of nature and how it's beneficial? And one way to approach this is to have an open mind and be creative. Yeah, a lot of this can be common sense. A lot of what we talk about in occupational therapy can be a common sense for most people, but not everybody, has insight into this. We all think differently. We have different backgrounds, beliefs, and so on, right? So it's worth mentioning some of these things. And actually, some of these are very interesting findings that I didn't even think about. So what you can start with is your natural environment where you currently are, like the indoors where you currently live, and to kind of modify and change it up so that it's more naturey and have the benefits of nature along with that. So this could mean one, for example, just cracking open a window, opening your blinds, or rearranging where your bed or chair even faces so that you can see or feel the sunlight. 2, you can turn on TV to nature documentaries, or you can even mute it so you don't have to listen to the narration and listen to different kind of music, Or get this, you can even post actual pictures, photographs of nature, or have them on your wall, or have paintings of nature in your space. Do you think that's going to have a beneficial, positive therapeutic effect for your chronic pain? Well, let's see. Here's actually some interesting research to back what I just suggested up. In 1984, researchers conducted an early study comparing recovery from a gallbladder removal surgery in these patients whose hospital rooms windows provided a view of a natural landscape versus other group of patients who just had a view of a brick wall. So patients with the view of the natural landscape had shorter hospital stays, they took less pain medications, and they had fewer negative like notes when it comes to like the documentation from like the nurses and stuff in their hospital stay. It's pretty incredible, huh? Along the lines with this, a study in 1993, they examined whether providing images of nature might enhance the recovery from heart surgery. So in this study, patients were randomly assigned to rooms providing either exposure to images of nature or versus abstract art as a kind of comparison group, or even like nothing at all. And the patients that were exposed to nature images were significantly more likely to switch from more strong pain medications to weaker painkillers during the recovery than the patients in the other kind of physical environments. And this highly influenced post-operative pain. The patients who were exposed to the nature and natural images reported significantly less anxiety than the other groups. And the patients who looked at the abstract art, like art that is abstractive, not very concrete, they had even higher levels of anxiety. So that's pretty interesting. A more recent study in 2003 exposed patients to views of nature and sounds as well. And these patients reported significantly higher levels of perceived control over their own pain. In another study, yet another one, researchers induced pain, such as like with a tourniquet around healthy participants, and then they exposed them to a video of like natural scenery. And then another group, they just looked at like a static screen, like kind of like static. And participants that were exposed, as you can guess probably, to that natural scenery, they reported higher pain thresholds. So they can tolerate more pain while like viewing and seeing these kinds of positive nature images. And then on top of all this, I want to share one of my own kind of experiences related to this kind of actual thing of posting photographs. I'm an occupational therapist. So in my break room, in the bathroom, there's literally like right above the toilet when you're peeing, like as a guy standing up, and also when you're sitting down, like as a lady, or when you're trying to have a bowel movement. I know a lot of information here, but you can see photographs of nature on both sides. And when I walk into these rooms, I'm off typically like really stressed out or have a lot on my mind. And when I see these images, I'm instantly kind of relaxed and less stressed out, less anxious. So before you click off and go and post a lot of photographs of nature around your living spaces, I'll end with some other ideas as well to help you, inspire you to make modifications to your environment or living situation, and to help make your daily routine more therapeutic to help treat your chronic pain. Consider which window you look at or spend time looking out as well. Find the one that's more naturey. Consider even maybe starting a garden if you're into that, or getting indoor plants and having nature inside, like real nature inside. Maybe get a fish or an aquarium. For some people, even like looking at water can be very calming. Like the other day I was walking along with my family and I saw a stream flowing under. And I was like, ooh, look, this is really cool. And it like really relaxed me. So those are just some ideas, not very limited by that. It's really what you're into, what your kind of finances are, what you have access to. Try and find creative ways, even tear up a magazine and like look at photos in there, collect, clip that and make like a scrapbook or something, right? That's another idea I just thought of on the spot. So much can go into it. Maybe try though, based on the research, avoid more abstract things. It may or may not help you. Everybody's different, but from research, abstract may not be the best thing. So you have a lot of abstract art or kind of abstract-y kind of things, less naturey things. Maybe consider not having that kind of exposure so much when it comes to treating your chronic pain. So what we learned so far is that overall, your environment around you and where you are at can have a huge effect on your stress, your anxiety, pain levels, even your pain tolerance. So with that, consider how an environment can actually be negative as well. Like we talk about abstract, but even things like blinding lights, bright lights, flickering lights, or even lights that aren't like the correct temperature. Like if some of you may like more white light, more yellow, warmerish tones, even the colors, right? Even your temperature, like how hot or cold your environment is, can have a huge effect on your mind, body, and spirit, and ultimately your pain. So want you to think about, when's the last time you were out in nature? What did it do for your overall health and your chronic pain? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, as this is YouTube, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you not only help my channel out, but you also help other people out in the chronic pain community to reach these resources, find these resources, and so that you all can support each other in your chronic pain treatment journey.